Chapter 1. The Sultan and Sharazad. Sultan Shahryar had a beautiful wife. She was his only wife, and he loved her more than anything in the world. But the Sultan's wife took other men as lovers. One day, the Sultan found her with another man. He was very angry and cut off the man's head. Then he cut off his wife's head too. From that time, the Sultan began to hate all women. "From today," he said to his vizier, "I'll marry a new wife every day. She'll stay with me for one night. Then the next morning I'll cut off her head, so no woman will hurt me again." The vizier had to find a new wife for the Sultan every day. But this was a very difficult job. Every family was afraid. No girl wanted to be the Sultan's wife for one night and then die. Fathers began to send their daughters away. The vizier too was afraid. "What will happen to me?" he thought. "I can't find any more girls. Perhaps the Sultan will kill me too." The vizier had two daughters. One of them, Sharazad, was beautiful and very clever. One day she said, "Dear father, please do something for me. It will make me, the Sultan, and the people very happy." "I would like to make everybody happy," said the vizier. "What is it, my daughter? Ask, and I will do it for you." "Give me to the Sultan. I will be his wife," answered Sharazad. The vizier's face turned white. "Never," he said. "The Sultan will kill you. I can't do that. Please don't ask me." "Please do it," answered Sharazad. "Everything will be all right, you'll see. I want to be the Sultan's wife." The vizier put his head in his hands. He was very unhappy. He loved Sharazad very much, and he didn't want to do this thing. But Sharazad asked again and again, and in the end the vizier said sadly, "All right, my daughter. But I don't understand. Why do you want to throw your life away?" Sharazad went to her sister, Dunyazad, and told her everything. Dunyazad began to cry, but Sharazad said, "Don't cry, dear sister. I don't want to die. Everything will be all right, you'll see. But you have to help me. I want you to sleep in the room with the Sultan and me. Wake me up 1 hour before morning. Say to me, 'Please tell me a story.' That's all." The next day, Sharazad went with her father to see the Sultan. The Sultan was very surprised. Why did the vizier want his daughter to be the Sultan's wife? But Sharazad was beautiful, and the Sultan was very happy with her. So he married her. That night, Sharazad said to the Sultan, "Sir, please can my sister stay with me tonight, my last night?" "All right," said the Sultan. Nobody slept that night. The Sultan always slept badly. Sharazad was excited, and Dunyazad was afraid. 1 hour before morning, Dunyazad spoke. "Dear sister," she said, "please tell me a story." So Sharazad began. Chapter 2. Behind the Door. Salem's father was very rich. When he died, he left his money and houses to his son. But Salem was young and lost the money very quickly. Then he sold the houses and lost that money too. In the end, he had nothing. He sat in the streets and waited for work. Sometimes he carried things for people. One day, an old man spoke to him. "You had a better place in life," said the old man. "I can see it in your face. I live with 10 other old men in one house. Come and be our servant." Salem walked through the city with the old man, and they stopped outside the old man's house. Before they went in, the old man turned to Salem and said, "This house is a very unhappy place, but never ask any questions about that." "I'll remember that," said Salem, and he followed the old man through the door. The inside of the house was very beautiful. The rooms were large, with floors of different colors. In the middle of the house was a lovely garden with many flowers. Salem could hear the sound of water and birdsong. Then he heard other sounds. They came from the other old men. The men wore black, and they cried in their rooms. The first old man took Salem into his room. He showed him a box with pieces of gold inside. "Use this gold when you buy things for us," he said. Salem also saw a door in the old man's room. He wanted to ask, "What's behind that door?" But you didn't ask questions in that house. Salem worked hard in the house for many years. One old man after another old man died, and he put them under the ground in the garden. In the end, there was only one old man, Salem's first friend. Then he was ill too. "I'm going to die, my son," he said to Salem. "Then please tell me something," said Salem. "Why are you so unhappy? And what's behind the door in your room?" "I can't tell you that," said the old man. "But don't try to open the door. You'll be unhappy every day of your life." The old man died. He left the house and his money to Salem. Now Salem was rich again, but he wasn't happy. He thought about the old men and the door. Why were the old men unhappy? What was behind the door? Salem had to know the answers to these questions. He took a piece of heavy wood and broke the door. The door was open. Sharazad stopped. "Well," said the Sultan, "what happened next? What was behind the door?" "Sir, there's light in the sky," said Sharazad. "You're going to kill me now." "But you can't stop there. You have to finish the story." "Then, please, give me another day," said Sharazad. The Sultan was angry, but he said, "All right, I'll give you one more day, but after that..." The next night, Sharazad started her story again. Behind the door, everything was very dark and quiet. Then Salem saw some stairs. He took a lamp and walked down the stairs. The stairs went down for a long way into the ground and came out into a cave. Salem walked through the cave and came to the sea. He stood there and looked round him. Then he saw something in the sky. It got bigger and bigger. It was a very large bird. It came down and caught him by his clothes. Then it flew with him across the sea. Salem was afraid, but then he slept. The bird flew all night. Early next morning, Salem woke up and saw a beautiful beach below him. A lot of people waited on the beach. The bird flew down into the middle of the people. The people were very friendly to Salem. They brought him a fine horse and helped him onto it. Then they took him through lovely gardens to a beautiful house. Inside the house, there was a lovely woman sitting on a chair. When she saw Salem, she got up. "You're here, my love. I'm very happy now," she said. She took Salem's hand and walked with him through the house and gardens. "Everything here is mine," she said. "Stay with me and be my husband. Then this will be yours too." "I would like that," answered Salem. "But there is one thing," said the woman. They went back to the first room, and she showed Salem a door. "Don't open that door," she said, "or you'll be unhappy every day of your life." Salem took the woman's hand. "I don't want to open the door," he said. "I only want you." Salem married the beautiful woman, and they lived happily for many years. He wasn't interested in the door. But then he began to think about it more and more. "I opened the first door at the old man's house, found this lovely place. When I open this door, perhaps I'll find a more wonderful place." One day, he couldn't wait. This time he didn't have to break the door. He pushed it, and it opened easily. Everything was dark behind the door. After some minutes, Salem saw a large eye. Then he saw a large bird. It was the bird from the cave outside the first door. The bird jumped into the room. Salem tried to run away, but it was too late. The bird caught him by his clothes and pulled him outside. It flew up into the sky, and the house and garden got smaller and smaller. The bird started to fly over the sea, and Salem slept. After a day and a night, Salem woke up. He was in the cave by the sea again. The bird wasn't there. Salem walked through the cave and found some stairs. He walked slowly up the stairs and found a door. He went through the door, and he was in his old house in the city again. For many months he tried to find a way back to the wonderful country, but nobody knew anything about it. In the end he understood. No ship could take him to that lovely country and his beautiful wife. "Now I understand about the old men," he thought. "They were unhappy because they made the same journey. They found that wonderful place. Then they lost everything too." Salem lived in the house all his life. He dressed in black clothes, and he cried every day. He never laughed again. "That was a very sad story," said the Sultan. "But the world is a very sad place." He too never laughed these days. "But is the world really sad?" said Sharazad. "Everybody has to laugh sometimes. I can tell you a funny story about a great man. Oh, but it's too late." "But I want to know," said the Sultan. "I think I can give you another day. You will tell me the story tonight." So that night, Scheherazade told the story. Chapter 3. Sultan Haron Laughs. The great Sultan Haron couldn't sleep. One night he suddenly said to his vizier, "The night is long. I want it to be shorter. What can I do?" The Sultan had a servant, Masrur. Masrur helped the Sultan night and day. Now he began to laugh. The Sultan was angry. "Why are you laughing?" he asked. "Are you laughing because I can't sleep?" "No, sir," answered Masrur. "I'm not laughing at you. I'm thinking about something funny. You see, yesterday I walked down to the river Tigris. There were a lot of people there. They stood round a big fat man. The fat man told funny stories and did funny things. Everybody laughed at him." "Well, go and find this fat man," said the Sultan. "Bring him to me. I can't sleep. Perhaps I can laugh at him too." Masrur went to the fat man's house. The man's name was Abdurazak. He was asleep and he didn't want to get up. But when he heard about Sultan Haron, he dressed quickly and came outside. "Let's go," he said. "Let's not be late for a great man." "Wait," said Masrur. "The Sultan will laugh at you and give you a lot of money. But think, who told him about you? It was me, Masrur. So you have to give me something too. When the Sultan gives you your fee, one half is yours. Give the other half to me." Abdurazak wasn't very happy about this, but in the end he said yes. Then Masrur took him to the Sultan. When Sultan Haron saw Abdurazak, he said, "So, people in the streets laugh at you. But I'm a sultan. Will I laugh at you too?" Abdurazak began to say and do funny things. Masrur laughed and laughed. Then the vizier laughed, but the Sultan didn't laugh. Abdurazak was very surprised. Then he began to feel afraid. "Stop," said Haron. "You're a very stupid man, and you aren't funny. So here's your fee. Masrur, hit this man hard 10 times. So Masrur began to hit the unhappy Abdurazak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Abdurazak cried, "Stop, Masrur! That's one half of my fee. Now take your half." "What's this?" said the Sultan. "What do you mean, one half of my fee?" So Masrur told the Sultan about Abdurazak's fee. One half for Abdurazak and the other half for Masrur. When he finished, the Sultan asked Masrur, "Well, do you want your half of the fee?" "No, sir," answered Masrur. "Abdurazak can take the fee, my half and his half." "All right then," said the Sultan. "Abdurazak will take Masrur's half. Masrur, Hit him 5 more times." Masrur hit Abdurazak 5 more times. After he finished, Abdurazak wanted to run away. But the Sultan said, "Don't go, Abdurazak. That was only the first half of your fee. Now you have to take the second half." Abdurazak's face turned white. He was very afraid. What second half? What did the Sultan mean? The Sultan turned to his vizier. "This is the second half," he said. "My vizier will give you 100 pieces of gold. Now, Abdurazak, take your fee and go home." The Sultan turned to look at Masrur. Masrur's face was very unhappy, but it was also very funny. Now, and for the first time that night, the Sultan laughed. "I liked that story," said Sultan Shahryar, "but it was very short. There's time for one more story." So Sharazad began her next story. Chapter 4. Fisel and the Barber. Fisel was a rich young man of Baghdad. He lived in a large house with many servants, but he didn't have a wife. He wasn't interested in love. One day Fisel went for a walk in the streets of the city. He saw a lot of young girls in front of him. He didn't want to meet them, so he turned into a small street. He looked up and saw a beautiful young girl at a window. From that minute, Fisel was in love. Then a man on a horse came into the street. He had many servants with him. He stopped outside the girl's house and went inside. "Is that her father?" Fisel thought. He went home, but he couldn't eat or sleep. He thought about the girl. Who was she? He had to know. An old woman worked in Fisel's house. She asked, "What's wrong with you, sir? Are you ill?" "No," answered Fisel, "but I'm in love." He told the old woman about the girl at the window. "I know that girl," said the old woman. "She's the daughter of a judge. Her father is a very important man." "How can I meet her?" asked Fisel. "Listen," said the old woman. "I know the people in the girl's house. I'll speak to the girl about you. She'll listen to me." The old woman went to the house and spoke to the girl about Fisel. The girl listened. She was very interested. "I would like to meet this young man," she said. "On Fridays, my father always goes out in the morning. Tell the young man. He can come and see me then. I'll speak to him." When Friday came, Fisel was very excited. First he went to the baths. Then he sent a servant into the town for a barber. Fisel wanted the barber to cut his hair, but the barber was very slow and talked about stupid things. "Be quick," said Fisel. "I have to visit friends." "Friends?" said the barber. "Oh, no! Now I remember. Some friends are visiting me today, but I forgot to buy food for them. What will they think of me?" "Listen," said Fisel. "I have a lot of food in my house, but I'm going out. I don't want it, so you can take it. But finish your work and go." thank you, said the barber. But now, what can I do for you? I know. I can come with you to your friend's house. No, you can't, said Fisel. Oh, said the barber. Then he got very excited. Perhaps your friend is a woman. Yes, perhaps things will be difficult for you. But really, I can help you. I helped a lot of my friends in this way. Please let me come with you. Fisel didn't want to listen to the barber. Oh, all right, he said. Take the food home to your friends. I'll wait for you here. Then you can come with me to my friend's house. But Fisel didn't wait for the barber. He didn't want the barber to come with him. When the barber left, he went to the girl's house. He was very late because of the barber. The old woman opened the door and took him upstairs to a fine room. There he sat and waited for the girl. But the barber didn't go home. He paid a man, and the man took the food back to his house. Then he followed Fisel to the girl's house. When Fisel went into the house, the barber waited outside in the street. Suddenly he saw the judge, the girl's father. The judge came down the street and went into the house. Inside, the judge found a servant. The servant had the judge's money in his hand, so the judge began to hit the man hard. Outside in the street, the barber heard the man's cries. It's my friend Fisel, he thought. The judge is killing him. He ran to the door and began to shout. Help! Help! He cried. The judge is killing my friend! Many people heard the barber and came out of their houses. They stood round the judge's door and began to cry, Help! Help! The judge is killing this man's friend! From inside the house, the judge heard the noise and opened the door. When he saw the angry people, he was surprised and a little afraid. Then the barber said to him, Where's my friend? Yes, where's his friend? Asked the people. They were very excited. I don't understand, said the judge. Who is this man's friend? Why is he in my house? You bad old man, shouted the barber. My friend loves your daughter, and she loves him. You know that very well. So you killed him. Good people, said the judge. My house is open to everybody. But I'm telling you, this man's friend isn't inside. Come and look. The barber ran into the house, and the people followed him. Fisel heard the noise and was very afraid. He found a large box and climbed into it. Then the barber came in. There you are, my friend, he said. You'll be all right now. I'm here, and I'm going to help you. He closed the box and began to carry it downstairs. There were many people on the stairs, and he pushed them out of his way. But Fisel was very angry with the barber. Go away, you stupid man, he shouted. I don't want your help. He began to kick the box hard from the inside. The barber fell down the stairs, and the box fell out of his arms onto the floor. Fisel climbed out. His arm hurt, and his face was black and blue.